The mic is hot, and we are live, man, and we are live. So you like oldies, huh?
I love oldies, huh? I love oldies.
But you don't like them when you were younger?
I hated them when I was younger. Like, all my uncles were pinteros, dog, and then just... You know when you have to ride in back of the... Remember you could ride in back of the truck back
Hell yeah.
So they used to have us riding in the back of the truck, hitting the bumps, playing oldies. I mean, like, fuck this shit.
With those big old speaker boxes in the back.
Yeah. I'd be like, put on rap. And they'd be like, fuck that stupid shit. You know, they hated rap music.
Yeah.
Let me make sure I got the comments going.
I don't know, just like, you know, when you grow up, you start listening, you go through things, and then you're like...
Start getting used to them.
Chubbo, can you make sure we're rocking on YouTube? Yeah, we're good, everybody, we're good, sounds good, everything's good. I just gotta check because I don't want to talk for an hour and all of a sudden tell me, hey, I never had sound.
Mic check.
I've been there, dude. I've been there. Oh yes, fool. When we started, I don't know how many. Okay, I had on the certain. Okay, turn. Thank you. There you go. On a certain thing, you have to format the cards, right? So I did the recording. We did the whole interview. I could hear the recording on the thing, but when I go to put it in the computer, I won't do it.
Serio?
Yeah, dude. More than once.
I lost 2 episodes.
Yes.
Dog, and I felt bad, dog. Like, I felt bad.
I did one with what was that one I missed, man? It was the guy who trained Ruiz, the fighter. Was it Manny? Was it Jimenez too? His name? Huh? Robles. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Manny Robles. Shout out to you. Yeah, I did the whole interview with him, and I forgot to press record on the Zoom.
Nah.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
How did he feel?
Who, me?
No, him.
Oh, I text him. I'm sure he should probably feel like I'm a jackass because he sat there for about an hour and a half talking to me. It was all for nothing, dude. And it was a great interview, dude. It's one of those. But before we get started, you gotta check in and write in.
What is this? This is the Bible, right?
This is the Bible. This is this is the first edition American Cholo guest.
Volume 1.
There you Volume 1. Volume 1, homeboy. Trucha con los cholos ahí, güey.
Anywhere.
Wherever you want, homeboy. Wherever you want.
Find a blank sheet.
Meanwhile, I want to give a shout out to the homie Gangster L for the camisa. Looking good over here. Money don't sleep. Money don't sleep. Homeboy. There you go. And when you do that, let me pay some bills here and talk to some of the people that help the channel grow, help the channel survive, man. Yesterday was a great podcast, and we had a lot of generous people come through. First one was Christian Salvador. Chris the Plumber supports you, Gil, since day one. Thank you very much. Second one, another generous donation was Jessica Rodriguez. From Oak Creep and myself, you have our support, Gil. Chingo is a waste of your time. Chingo was actually a pretty good guest, man. He had balls for coming on. Also to the homies, stories written by current prisoner. Pyro Team Bean 100, Sumaru, I'm sorry if I got it wrong, and I be stroking, but don't stroke too much because you might go blind, guy. So with all that out the way, you on the books, homie. You can't say you were never here, and even if you deny it, I got you, player. All the way from
Colton,
California.
But right now I'm coming from Hesperia. I currently reside in Hesperia.
Yeah, but you still claim the city, baby.
Yeah, man. That's where I grew up, dog.
So that's we're here to talk about you and your life, man. And you got it was a pretty rough start for you as a kid, right?
Yeah, man. My life was pretty. You know, I guess it's just like everybody else's story. You know, everybody has a story. Everybody went through hardships. You know what I mean?
Of course.
It just. My mom had me when she was young, dog, and that's where it all started.
How old was your mom?
You know? She was like 16 when she had me. She got pregnant. Sometimes, like a while back, I sat and thought, my daughter's 13, right? My son's 16. And they wouldn't even know what to do with the kid, dog.
Oh, no. Yeah, right?
Like,
themselves.
They can't even clean their fucking room, you know? And I'm like, man, you know, and one day it dawned on me, you know, like, and me and my mom, we were chilling, and I told her, like, hey, you know what, like, because I always had some kind of resentment towards her. Like, Why were you fucking partying? Why did you leave us home? I mean, I started being homeless, like, or living on my own, I should say, probably like at 16, you know? And I always felt like, why did I have to be like this, you know? And then probably not too long ago, maybe a few months ago, I told her, like, hey, you know what? Like, I don't hold any grudge towards you because you were just a little girl. Like,
yeah.
Like, you're 16 years old, dog. Yeah. Think about that. 16 years old. My son's 16 years old, and he can't even he wouldn't even be able to support himself, defend himself, take care of himself, or nothing. He doesn't know the real world
Right.
yet. You know,
Yeah.
he doesn't even know what college he wants to go to yet. You know, like we're still figuring that out.
Yeah.
And to have a kid, and you know, she was a victim of abuse and everything. You know, and I hold no grudges towards my mom, and I had to let her know that. You know, she started crying and everything.
Yeah.
Hey man, she had a rough life as well. It's not, we went through life together, you know.
But you were pretty much raising yourself though as a kid then.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I can't say it like it. I don't want to make it seem like a sob story. Like
No, we're here to hear the real story.
You know what I mean? Like I grew up in the neighborhood. I fucking, you know how we grow up, dog. You started selling drugs and shit, you know. And so my mom, it was always off and on. Like I live with my mom, and then we'd go live at my grandma's house in Colton, and then we'd move out to like another city, and then we'd always have to go back to Colton, and so that's where I grew up. And finally, probably like maybe like junior high, I was like, man, I don't want to leave my grandma's pad, so I stayed at my grandma's pad, and my grandparents are a little strict and shit. You know, my grandpa's from Mexico, and he ain't having that shit, dog. So I started selling drugs, and he caught me one day, and he was like, hey man, you gotta bounce. And I was like,
what you slinging?
Where the fuck? Oh, back then it was just weed, dog. You know, but it was the nasty ass weed with the sticks and the stems.
The bricks, the
bricks.
Yeah, dog, like the hard ass shit, you know. And he threw that shit away, dog.
Oh, he threw the sack away.
What the fuck, you know? So he kicked me out, and ever since then, like I've been living on the streets and everything, you know. And obviously, it went from weed to dope, and you know, a little bit of coke here and there. Started transporting, you know, like man, and it went from one little ounce to hundreds of pounds to transporting across the country and shit. You know what I mean? I was doing pretty well for myself. I was able to take care of myself, able to pay my bills and everything. You know.
I heard as a young kid that you saw some crazy stuff, man. I heard if you can talk to us about the murder you saw when you were a little kid.
Oh yeah, man. For some reason, these people like on YouTube. So I did an interview and I had said it, and people are like, "Oh, you're snitching," you know. Let's fucking say no names or nothing. Yeah. But I think I was like, let me see, how old are you when you were in 5th grade? Like 4th or 5th grade.
4th or 5th grade, you're gonna probably be like, yeah, like about 9 years old.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah. 8, 9.
Yeah, I was playing, dog, and then I just hear bah, 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 the fucking jump over the fence, and it was like a brick wall. It jumped over, and I see this fool just like fucking laying there, and this fool's still right there, dog, and that fool is like, hey, get the fuck out of here, you know? I was like, man, took off running and shit. Like, that shit was crazy, dog.
Those were the streets you lived in.
Yeah, I saw a couple murders, though, like, even as a little kid, you know?
Right.
I mean, obviously, we see shit when we get older,
Right,
but,
right.
you know, shit that we can't talk about. But, I mean, I've seen, like, a lot of people die in front of my face.
So was your upbringing also like let's say around a lot of gangs?
Oh yeah, dog. Like all my uncles on my mom's side of the family are gang members. You know what I mean? My dad's side, I didn't really grow up with the father. He took off. You know what I mean? He was always in and out here and there. But his family is also like gang related too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they're not actually from gangs like my mom's side of the family is. But it just, you know how
they
you
just
do
with
it.
it.
Yeah, exactly. But my mom's side, they're all fucking, you know, it's a trip, dog. All my mom's side are fucking bulldogs from Fresno.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, like number one enemies.
Shit.
It's crazy, dog.
So the primos ain't inviting you to the barbecues.
Nah, you know what's crazy, dog? Like my great grandma, she lived to be, I think she might have lived to be 100, right? So we go to the funeral, right? And there's only maybe a handful of us from down here. Everybody else is either Bulldogs or Norteños, right? And so we go to the funeral strapped up, and it's crazy, dog. That side of the casket was them, and this side of the casket was us. And I'm sitting there thinking like, what the fuck are we doing? This is like a funeral for like the number one lady in our family.
The one that brings us together.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still, they didn't like, we had like, you know, a get together after. They didn't go though. They didn't go.
Switch your separate ways.
Yeah. We just all went in my grandma's pad and shit. You know, it was in Fontana. And
how many years ago was this?
Probably like 2-3 years ago, something like that.
It wasn't too long ago.
Yeah,
then, huh?
It wasn't too long ago, dog. So, I mean, it's crazy. Think about that, dog.
Yeah,
like,
that's insane,
half
brother.
of your family on one side of the casket, the other half
But
You know?
but the thing is, they probably feel the same way about you guys, not in a bad way. I'm saying, but just nobody approached the situation. Maybe.
No, dog, they felt the same way because it was mad dog in this shit, dog. Like, you know, it was tension, dog.
It's all family. You guys still
Yeah, my
yeah.
brother's over here with his fucking hand and letting him know he
no.
has a strap and shit.
How old's your brother?
I have two. Fuck, we're 3 years apart. I'm 35, so then the other one's 3 years younger, and then the other one's 3 years younger than me.
All from the same mom?
Yeah, all from the same mom and the same dad.
And how do those guys turn out? They also went through the same
Worse
struggles
than
as you.
me, dog. They're fucking, hey man, you know, sometimes I look back on life, dog, and I wish that I would have changed my life, and I wish that I would have been a different role model, and maybe they would have changed. You know, we all been in prison. We were all in prison at the same time, dog. None of us were in the streets, you know, and I look back and sometimes I think like, fuck, I should have changed my life for the better of theirs, you know. But then, just like my mom, I was a little kid at the same
of course.
time. Too,
Exactly.
you know, even though I was a little older, my youngest brother, he's 6 years younger than me. I started him slanging, and he started slanging, and he was already kicking. They both were like kicking it in the neighborhood and shit, you know. But we just all started kicking it together. We didn't kick it together before. They got a little older, then we all started kicking it, and you know, it just. I think maybe if I would have changed my life and I would have been different, then life would have been different. They were already banged out and doing what they were doing, but what if I was a different role model and could have swayed them to be something else?
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
So
I was just fucked up myself, though.
So how did you initially get into the dope game?
I used to buy weed, right? So I would fucking like try to like sell cans and all kinds of shit and whatever I could. I used to work with my grandpa on the weekends. Right? My grandpa always... He did not give a fuck what you had going on in your life. You were gonna work, dog. You were gonna come. We used to do roofing and shit, right? And he would, he wouldn't pay us like the best in the fucking world, dog. But I mean, we came home with money, you know. So I would go buy Dickies, cause back then they were only like $20, dog. And I'd buy a couple of white shirts, and then I have money for a sack. So I used to always go to this dude. He'd be like, "Man, you come every week." And he was like, "Why don't you just buy like an ounce?" And I was like, "Well, I don't have enough money for that shit, dog." He's like, "Here, I'm gonna front you that shit, right?" So then I start going for ounces, come back with that, and he's like, "Well, why don't you just buy a fucking quarter pound?" And I buy a quarter pound. Next thing you know, it's like 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 5 pounds, and then we start going to 10 to 20 pounds, right? Then I start getting into dope, and from there, he's like, "Hey, you know what, man? I'm just gonna hit you off with 50 pounds, and we're just whenever you have the money, come back, you know." And then I started getting like fucking ounces and fucking pounds of dope, and so I start selling that shit, dog. And then I start making money. Then one day this guy comes to me. So I met him when I was like 15 or 16, somewhere around there. So I think I was already like 19, 20 because I already had my son. And he comes to me one day. He goes, "Hey man, I just want to let you know I'm getting out of the dope game." And I was like, "Well, what the fuck am I gonna do, dog? Like, I need you. You know what I mean? Like, I have connects, but
I got people now too.
Think about it. Somebody that just drops you 50 pounds, 100 pounds here and there. Like,
that's a
how
good
much
connect.
do they have? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So he goes, "Nah, man, I'm gonna do you a paro. You know, I'm gonna introduce you to some good people." And he's like, "Man, let's just go out, and I'll talk to you." So we're chilling at this pad. So he goes, "Hey, check it out, man. I'm gonna do 2 things for you." And I said, "What's that?" He's like, "Well, I'm gonna introduce you to this guy right here." And he's like, "Come here." He tells him, "Come here." And he's like, "Okay, this is my cousin right here." He's like, "This guy brings it over from Mexico. There's no middleman. This is the straight connect.
There's a plug.
You get whatever you want, as much as you want." He's like, "I vouch for you." He tells his cousin, "I've been knowing this guy since he was a little kid, man. He's straight. Like, I've been to his neighborhood and everything, like, and I vouch for him." So I was like, "Fuck yeah, dog! Like, I'm about to be a fucking kingpin, Like, I'm
moving up in the world."
I thought, like, I was already like, man, I'm about to fucking rule this shit right now. The king of Colton.
The king of Colton.
Like, this shit's about to be lit, dog.
That's right.
Hey, to be honest with you, dog, then I go from 50 pounds to 100 pounds a week. And then he hits me off with like, "Hey, man, you got a license?" I was like, "Nah, but I get one." And he's like, "Well, you want to make like, $4,000 or $5,000 a week?" I was like, "How?" And he's like, "Just drive this truck over here in North Carolina, Atlanta, Chicago." Like, man, let me go get my license real quick. You know what I mean? So I just got my fucking license, dog. Next thing you know, I'm traveling out of state, dog. Just, not even knowing that I'm fucking crossing federal. You know what I mean? Like, that you go from state to federal, and I didn't know that shit until I got locked up. So I started doing that for a while. Then I linked back up with my boy. He said, hey, you ready for that second thing I was going to do for you? I said, what's that? He goes, I'm going to give you this number to something called the union. I said, what's the union, dog? And he was like, it's construction. I was like, I ain't about to do that shit, dog. I'm making money with your cousin over here.
What do I got to work for?
About? Yeah, like, fuck that. Like, he's like, nah, man, this is going to change your life. You won't have to look over your shoulder no more. Like, trust me. This is the way you want to go. He's like, I fuck with you so much that I even got you a job. I was like, serio? And he was like, yeah. So, lo and behold, I called the number. Stopped smoking weed. I used to be a fucking pothead from a little kid all the way till I was like 19, 20. I called the number. It gets me in the union. Shit, I never looked back, dog. I mean, the first parts were rough because I was still selling drugs. And,
busy.
And I was like, man, sweating over here or come over here and go take a run and make this much money. You know what I mean? So then I get busted in a raid one time.
So you were already in the union and then you got busted.
Yeah, dog. Okay. I was doing both. You know what I mean? Like, I would take
Can't
my
double
union
dip.
money and then go buy a fucking pound of dope and then like just start flipping it. You know?
Shit.
Man, I was doing good. But at least I think I was doing good. You know what I mean?
You need a sidekick, man?
I know. Let's get into it right now.
No.
You need help?
A disclaimer: we are not getting in the dope game.
I know.
So what ended up happening that you ended up getting busted for?
So you know when they do parole sweeps and shit, and like probation sweeps,
they just grab everyone.
So I was at my grandma's pad, and I'm next door, and this guy goes, "Man, I want to buy a couple ounces," and I was like, "All right, come over here." And he's like, "Hey, you got a QP on you?" And I was like, "Yeah, dog, but I'm gonna go over here to my grandma's. Call me when the dude comes." He's like, "Nah, let me get another ounce, you know." And I was like, "All right, here." So while I'm waiting there, I said, "Hey, man, I'm gonna go next door. Just call me. I'm gonna be at my grandma's pad." He's like, "No. Like, sell me an 8-ball." I said, "Homie. Dog, I'm gonna be next door, dog." You know, like, fuck, he's keeping me there, dog.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
So my brother's in the house next door, so it's my grandma's house, the dope house that I'm in, and then another house next door. So I call my brother, his name's Stoney, my youngest brother. So I said, "Hey, Stoney, fucking cops are sweeping, dog. Like, keep an eye out, you know what I mean?"
Yeah.
So he's like, "All right." Fuck, like 5 minutes later, he's like, "The fucking cops are outside in the front, dog." And I was like, "What?" He said, "They're outside and they're coming in." So I'm like, I'm in the back, we're in the garage, dog. So I try to run out the fucking garage and the cops are already there. And there's like a, you know, the screen doors, like the metal doors.
Yeah,
whatever.
security doors.
Yeah, there you go, security door.
door.
And he goes, "Steven, don't move." That's my real name, Steven. And I was like, boom, and I closed the door on him and he's trying to get in. So I used to keep the fucking dope wrapped around my leg with tape, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I keep it in my cheeks and shit, you know what I mean? Only if you've been to prison,
You gotta
you
do
know
what you gotta do, baby.
You know what's up. So I pull it out, and since I used to do that, like sometimes cheek it or keep it by my leg or like by my nuts, I would always have it in an extra bag,
Right.
You know, and then I'd have a lot of baggies. So I ripped it and I tried to throw it because there was like transmission parts all over the fucking garage.
Yeah.
And when I go, I only rip one bag, so I see the whole thing fucking going, dog. And I'm like, oh man, I thought it was like in a spread, like all right, cool, you know. Because if you know anything about dope, a quarter pound is only like this much, dog. Like that shit ain't that much, you know. Like it's not like weed that is fucking gigantic, you know.
Right.
So. Like, I throw it, and then I'm like, fuck. And then they already let the cop in. He comes, and they take me, dog. And then it was kind of like a blessing, dog, because after that, I got out, and we went to court. It was my first offense. I got on probation and shit. But my connect was like, hey, you got a dirty record. You can't go out of state anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I'm not about to go back from making this much money to peddling and fucking quarter pounds and pounds here and there. Like, once you advance, you don't want to go back, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, fuck this. I'm just going to go to the union then, dog. I was already making okay money and shit, you know? So, man, I went to the union, and I'm not going to say that I didn't dibble and dabble because, man, even like 2 years ago, I was fucking around. I just barely, like, maybe in the past 2 years, though, I barely, like, started flying straight.
Yeah,
that's right.
And I've been fortunate this whole time. I bought my own house like 7 years ago and shit, you know. And, you know, there's just sometimes you just don't learn still, dog. You know, and fucking you do, like, sometimes I come home, tell my wife, like, man,
that's it.
if
It's
the
over.
cops come fucking knocking, like, I'm gone. You know, like shit like that, you know. And she like, like maybe like a year or two ago, she's like, man, I'm fucking tired of this shit. Like,
Of
how old are
course.
you? Like,
Of course.
we have to worry about you fucking getting locked up. You're not gonna come home. We gotta, you know,
We gotta figure things
get
out.
the guns out of the house. You know, like, and fuck, shit dawned on me. Like, fuck am I doing, dog? Like, I've been a foreman forever. You know, so I've been a supervisor at work. I make fucking good money.
What kind of work you doing?
I do construction, dog.
I know, but what trade?
Pipeline. So I do everything from sewer, water, storm drain, electrical, gas, like anything, dog. Like I can do all kinds.
You
of
guys
shit,
doing like the
dog.
big commercial ones?
Hell yeah! Like you know the metro that they're doing all the subways and the tunnels and everything
yes.
right now. I'm relocating all the pipeline right now for them. I'm working like in the middle of Century City, dog, where all the big ass buildings and shit.
So what do you guys do? You guys dig the trenches, start laying all these pipes in there?
Hell yeah! So right now, like they're digging fucking big ass like pits for the tunnels to go through. Well, in the middle of the street, the pipeline there, so they can't have the drill go. So I have to move it to the side, you know. So I'm moving everything sideways and put a whole new pipeline in. After they go through, I move it back. So all the utilities, though, I'm talking like sewer, everything.
Everything must
street
go.
after street, roll. After
dog, like
that's just not like one. It comes
from Beverly Hills to Century City to Westwood, like Santa Monica, like everywhere. Like I've been like everywhere for the past couple years, you know. And I usually chase the money, dog. Like I'll go out at I'll go far away, 3-4 hours from home, and I work like long projects. But I think I'm gonna stay with this company, man.
That's right.
I'm a supervisor. I have it good. I work nights. You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty much my own boss. I don't have nobody breathing down my neck.
That freedom.
That
That freedom, brother. That freedom.
Freedom is nice.
My boss, he doesn't tell me what to do. He doesn't. I can make my own schedule, dog. Sometimes like I'll start at 7. Sometimes I'll start at 9. Sometimes I leave early. Sometimes I leave late. He never says anything to me.
Yeah.
Because you're getting the job done.
That's all he says. Like last night was the only time he ever told me like, "Hey, I need this shit done." And he doesn't even talk like that to me, dog.
Yeah.
He's like, "I need this shit done."
You had a long day, huh?
Dog, I've been up for over 24 hours.
Oh man, where'd your day start yesterday or what?
Yesterday it started like at 3:30, but that's not even it. I woke up at 5 o'clock yesterday, drove all the way to Century City just so he could walk the job with me.
Show you what he needs to get done.
And that doesn't usually happen either. He'll just give me the blueprints and be like, "Do this," but for some reason, dog, he was like, "I need you to come over here."
Yeah.
Like, fuck, dog. Like, you know, I haven't been awake in the daytime forever. So I drive over there. We walk the job. I drive back home, sleep for like 2 hours. I woke up like at 3:30 and then drove out to Century City, and I've been awake ever since, dog.
And now you're here, baby.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
I got like 30 minutes of sleep, but that was cool, dog. If the soldiers could do it, he can do it.
Don't fall asleep on the podcast. Don't fall asleep on the
It wouldn't be
podcast.
the first time.
No.
No, so you eventually went to prison though, right?
Yeah, I went to prison, dog. I went to prison.
How was that ride for you, huh?
It was the best fucking experience I ever had in my life. It was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Why?
Because it changed me and made me the man who I am. I was in prison. I was in the union and everything before, but I didn't appreciate everything I had.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You go from making top dollar, dog, $30-something an hour. At that time, the scale was $30 an hour, you know? To trapped in fucking 4 walls. Like, I got locked up for kidnapping. Not a kid, though.
Let's get that.
Anybody that's not kidnapping kids, though. Like,
Don't rush him, boo. Don't rush him. Don't
yeah,
rush him.
yeah, but, like, not no kid. I always have to say that, dude.
Oh, that's
So
funny.
I got locked up for kidnapping me and my brother and my road dog and shit, you know, and they were fucking trying to throw the book at us, dog. So then, like, I go from almost losing my whole life. I already had my son, my daughter was on the way, and I lost my whole fucking life. And then, you know, one day you wake up. You guys been to prison?
I've been at YA.
Well,
Super
same
max.
shit. Dog. I don't give a fuck if you've been in county. Dog.
I'm a YA baby.
You know what I mean? It's the same thing. You know when you wake up, dog.
Oh yeah, you're in the cells, huh,
and
boy?
you can't move.
Yeah,
dog.
you're
Like,
a caged fucking animal, brother.
you can't just walk out the door or whatever you want. So, like one
You
day I
cannot.
woke up like, what the fuck am I doing? Because
Yeah.
when
Lots
I
of
got in
things.
prison, I was having a little bit of fun, dog. Like,
yeah.
you know, like I hadn't smoked weed in so long because I was in the union. Started smoking weed, and then you're kicking it. My road dog's there. My other best friends there.
It's a new
Like,
experience.
you know what I mean? And then I'm meeting new homies that I ain't never seen before. Like, hey, you from Colton? Like, yeah. So it's like, damn, like, and then probably like a year, maybe 8 months to a year into it, dog, I look at the ceiling like,
like, I'm done.
what the fuck? My family's
I
gone.
wanna go home.
Oh,
dog.
good.
What the fuck am I doing in here?
It's time to
you
go
know?
home or what?
And, yeah, pretty
time to go
much,
home.
dog, like,
The brain
hey,
started
vacation's
processing it, huh?
over, you
The
know?
brain started processing, like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
fuck this. I don't want to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, dog. And I had stopped rapping. Now, rapping was my passion since I was a little kid.
Okay.
And exactly a year into it, I remember it was exactly a year into it. I picked up a notepad and started writing all kinds of fucking songs.
While you were
dog.
busted.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I was writing to everybody. I was writing to High Power. I was writing to Little Rob's record label. Like, you guys better get me now before I blow up. You know what I mean? And shit didn't work. Dog. The only people that responded to me was Dope House. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. We'll talk about that right now. But anyway, so I do all of that and I get out with the game plan, dog. I was like, all right, when I get out, a couple months, I'm going to buy me a used car.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to buy me a fucking new car. And then I'm going to buy me a house. And then I'm going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everything, I executed everything to this day, dog.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Like,
yeah.
exactly the way, my 5th year out, I was supposed to buy a house, but I bought it in my 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
And you know what I mean? And everything just happened sooner than it did, but...
You set goals and you met them.
Yeah, exceeded
yeah.
them, you know?
Did you ever go back to prison?
No, sir.
Oh, you're a smart
And
man.
I
You
do
know?
not plan on, I mean...
But there's some
I don't
people.
think anybody plans on
There-
going to
there's
prison.
no-
yeah, exactly.
No, there's some people that just go in and out and kind of don't give a f. They don't give a fuck. They
Yeah,
get that
that
mentality
is
for a
true,
minute.
though.
But what I notice is it doesn't matter who you are. Eventually, one day you're gonna wake up how you woke up and say, "What am I doing in here?"
Yeah, I think
They
so,
all
though.
do. It just depends
Oh,
how old
yeah.
you are sometimes.
Time to go home.
Yeah. You know what the crazy thing is? I never been locked up as a little kid, dog. Like,
Oh,
young,
man.
like, you know, like they say YA is harder than everything, dog. Like, I'm glad I didn't have to experience that shit because prison, I'm not saying it's the easiest thing in the world, dog.
No, absolutely
you
not.
See people getting waxed and
Yeah.
everything, but it's so much respect. It's kind of hard to get in a fight unless you're a dumb fuck in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's kind of hard to like get off on some
Yeah,
shit, you
yeah,
know
it's a
what I
different
mean?
world.
Because it's like everybody's respectful there, dog. Like, you know, so.
It's because the guidelines and the rules is what it is.
Mhm. Yeah. So I knew what I wanted, dog. Like, right, like, I used to just walk around and play basketball. Like, man, when I get out, I mean, I remember telling Bozo.
Oh, that's what I want to ask you. Yeah. I heard you and Bozo were in the level 3 art together.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. I met him.
Did you
that's how you met him?
Did you
Yeah,
meet him
that's how
there?
I met him,
So
dog,
how'd you
yeah.
meet Gangster Bozo
That
over there?
fool was a fucking cocky motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
This fool, I don't know where the fuck he got him from, but this fool had Kobe's in prison, dog.
Yeah.
You know? And like, so I remember I was rapping one day and like Bozo was like looking out the side of his eye, dog, and that fool, cause like that fool was balling in there, dog.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this fool had a Sony Explode and fucking
that's right.
Xbox and everything, you know. And that fool didn't talk to me for a long time, dog. And I was real cool with his Sally, dog.
Yeah.
And one day we started playing basketball. After that, it was cool, dog. I used to be in there smoking with them and drinking
That's
with them and shit, dog. But yeah, dog, like that fool did not talk to me for like a month or two, dog. Like, I was like, fuck it. I don't
earn your
care, you know
stripes,
what I
huh?
mean? You know?
That's it.
But then that fool had like all kinds of weed and shit, so I'm like, I'm trying to be that fool's friend and shit, you know what I mean? I'm trying to be cool with him. Not but we hit it off, dog, and
That's
we've been
right.
cool ever since, you know? Like, I tell everybody, and I always say it like that, in rap, in the whole whatever we got going on, you know what I mean? That's like probably like one of, if not my only friend, like actual friend, you know? Because once you go through some serious shit like that, you know, like, and you're day to day and you create a kind of bond, there's no coming back from that. Plus, I'm close. I met his family and everything.
That's
Went to
right,
his
homie.
house and all that
Yeah,
shit, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
That's
Bozo's
my
good
boy.
people, homie. Bozo's good people, carnal.
yeah, he's very, very good people.
He just
bro.
real gangster with it. Homie.
I know. That was crazy, dog. He's still crazy to this day.
Oh man! So when you got out, you started doing the union stuff. But how did you? You also started doing some raps, and you got some stuff that's damn, it's got millions and millions of views.
Yeah, dog. That happened. One day I was at work, dog, and somebody was playing some Chicano rap, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I can rap better than that. And I don't remember who it was playing, you know. And the homie was like, man, let me see. So I start rapping, and that fool was like, man, you should hit up Capone. And I was like, nah, that's not gonna answer me. So while we're talking, I'm texting Capone on Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't even think Instagram was out back then, or I don't even remember, dog, because I wasn't like really on social media.
Yeah.
And that fool answered me like 3 minutes later, dog. And then me and him start having a conversation, and then like 3 days later, he's like, come to Hollywood, and come to the studio. So I go over there, start recording, and the rest is history. Dog. Like, I recorded like most of my first album with them and shit, you know. And after that, like, everything just started taking off, dog.
You kind of started doing your own stuff independently, right? You never signed to him?
No, so trip out on this. This goes 360, dog. Right. So I'm in the studio one day, then somebody's talking about Bozo. And I'm
that's
like,
right. He was with him for a minute.
Like, Bozo from where? And I was like, Pico? And they were like, yeah.
You know?
I said, man, I know that Vato. You know? So then one day we're at a video shoot or maybe it was a kickback or something, you know?
Yeah.
And I go. And I fucking end up meeting Bozo again, you know, like, what's up, dog?
That's
so me and him hit it off, and then Cujo's there, well, Tyrant at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Me and that fool start freestyling forever. Like, we were going back and forth and shit, and then me and Bozo, like, started clicking back up, and, you know, and we were about me, Bozo, and Cujo were about to turn the fucking game on its side, dog. But then Bozo and Capone had like a falling out.
Yeah. So did Cujo, I believe, too.
Yeah. But this was before. Like, Bozo fell out first, and then they didn't want me to talk to Bozo, dog. Like,
they be doing shit like that, huh?
Yeah, like Pinks was like, hey, if you're fucking with Bozo, then, because I was gonna sign with Capone, then I was gonna sign with Pinks, and then me and Bozo were both gonna sign with Pinks, and then she's like, man, if you're fucking with Bozo, you know, like, we ain't cool with him and shit, you know.
Man.
But like I said, you gotta understand, dog. Like, that's gonna be my boy forever.
That's right.
You know what I mean? This rap thing is just temporary, dog, or whatever it was just a temporary situation. So I was like, fuck it, man. I just stopped talking to him and just started fucking with Bozo and shit. You know what I mean? And then that one fucking took off, dog.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Sure
what is it with and not, you don't have to get into it like real deep, but what is it with Capone? And a lot of people always say this guy is burning people. Is he just doing like shiesty contracts? Is that what it is? Because I noticed a lot of people go in there and then all of a sudden they come out like, damn, this fool's burning me.
I wouldn't say this fool's okay.
Is he pulling a Jerry Heller?
Let me ask you this, right?
Shoot it.
All right.
I'm gonna ask you guys. If I tell you this, dog, if I come to you and tell you, look, man, I'm gonna put you out. I'm gonna do everything to get you popping, but all the money's gonna be mine.
Oof.
And you take it, whose fault is that? Mine or yours?
Yeah, it's mine.
Right? You chose to do that, right?
Because I want the fame, not the money at that point.
Well, no, you think you're gonna blow up, and then after a while you start seeing the money coming in. You're like, damn, this fool got me. And then you start feeling a certain way.
And then next thing you're like, well, fuck, I just signed for 3 albums and shit. Like, you take off on the first one.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, like, did he get you?
Yeah, it's business. Huh?
Nah, you got yourself, dog. Like, he just put it out there. You didn't have to, you know
sign,
what I mean?
You didn't have to sign.
Exactly.
You signed on your own.
Yeah,
so
but that's still a low down dirty vato move right there. I mean,
Adam and Eve, nobody told her to eat the fucking apple. She chose to eat the apple, dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I get
they
it.
just put it in front of her, and then a little. I'm not saying he's a snake, but you know, he offered me the same thing, dog.
Yeah.
He offered me three album deal. The first 2 were for promotion. He was gonna promote me and everything and get me out there. Same thing he did for Cujo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And the third one was gonna be 20%. I was like, Charlie, homie, like
20% for you or him?
For me.
And the first 2, nothing?
Nothing.
Oh, no, man.
That's a lot of albums, man.
That's a horrible deal.
3 albums, dog. Indicating that my highest selling song was on that album.
Of course.
Right? And I knew that shit was going to go. And I was like, nah, I can't do that, dog. And he was like, well, you know, and I was like, well, what does it entail? Because I could just write 3 albums, but I had to pay for the studio time, pay for the beats, shoot the videos myself too, dog. I had to pay for the videos.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, what the fuck? Like, I guess I'm just paying to be famous at that point.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I said, Charlie, dog, and I've always been fortunate enough because I've been in the union to fund myself, dog. Like, this day, I have no investors. Nobody owns my music. I own 100% of anything I do, everything I do. The only 2 songs that I don't own are the 2 songs I first came out with, and Capone owns them. And I never say he got me because I understood what we were doing, dog.
Yeah.
He was going to put me out.
You read the contract.
Exactly. He was going to put me out. And I'll tell you this, dog. Our verbal agreement was he was just going to put it on a compilation. I still own the song.
Right.
But I'm not a bitch. I was just like, man, yeah, it came out on the album. I'm just going to leave them there. You know what I mean? So instead of like pursuing some shit or like trying to take royalties, I just left it alone, dog. But I didn't sign a contract, you know, and Cujo ended up in that situation.
Yeah, I think that's what he did, huh?
And dog, I'll tell you this.
Get a lawyer, homie.
I say this because I said it when I interviewed Cujo too, and I put it out on the table. So this Vato signed for 3 albums. Cujo kind of got Capone, though. He signed for 3 albums. Cujo was trying to leave, and then Capone gave him more money to sign for 2 more albums. So he was locked in for 5 albums, right? Before he signed those other 2 albums, I told him, how much is he giving you? He was like, 5,000. I said, homie, I'll give you 5,000. Do not sign. You're about to blow up. And he was like,
for
I
5
don't know.
racks.
They were in his ear, dog, and I was just like, man, I'll give you 5,000, dog.
For 5 racks.
Yeah, dog.
Oh, man.
And he ended up signing again, so he was like locked in for 5 fucking albums, dog, you know?
Oh, yeah, he sold them so cheap, dude.
Yeah.
Because,
but then again, he wasn't Cujo at that point.
yeah, but that fool got skills. He's
Yeah,
got some.
he's
a
dope.
lyricist,
He's
brother.
dope, dog.
Yeah, he
But
is.
he was dope before that.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Capone, I'm not saying Capone made him, but Capone put him in the limelight to where he made him Cujo,
Well,
right?
he's got the platform and the backing to be
Yeah.
able to do that.
Yeah.
But I think he also uses it as an advantage because he's kind of exploiting some of these guys. If you think about it, the deals he's giving them, like, come on, 2 records and you're not making no money off it. Nah, man, that's a horrible deal.
Yeah, but as the artist, you're thinking you just want the fame at that point.
Yeah.
You don't want the money.
Yeah, no,
you just
but
want you
I
think,
don't-
okay, I'll get the fame and then I'll take off.
I don't know.
myself.
I don't know what.
It don't work that
That's
way.
exactly what everybody
But
thinks.
are you
Yeah.
telling me that big studio companies do that to artists and say we're gonna give you 2 record deals and not gonna pay you anything? No big studios does that. They pay the artists. They gotta pay you something,
That's very, very true.
right?
That is very, very true. But then again, it comes back to you're the one that went for
No,
it.
no, yeah. At the end of the day, you're the tonto that signed it. I get that, but I think he's just hustling these guys because I got the carrot, I got the little golden stick right here. You want this? But 2 albums? Oh man, for 5 G's, you got him, homie, you got him.
Yeah.
So, how did you eventually come about of opening up your podcast, man? Let's talk a little bit about your podcast.
I stopped rapping, dog. So I did pretty damn good with my first album, right? Like, man, I was doing like so good, but it got in the way of my work. You know, you're a contractor, right?
I do concrete. I was contracted for a few years, but not
Okay,
just
well,
work.
you know
Yeah,
how
if
to
I know
run.
the
You know
business,
you
yeah.
have to run work, right?
Of course.
Dog, my mind, like even right now, dog, like my mind on the way over here was not what I'm gonna be talking to you guys about. My mind is, fuck, I have a shutdown. They're gonna shut the water down on these skyscrapers over here. I have 12 hours to get this water back on. And I'm thinking about a plan.
Good thing nobody's in those buildings.
I'm visualizing
Yeah.
the blueprints in my head. You know, I'm responsible for hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars that I have to make this company because I'm a supervisor, dog.
Right.
Like, you know,
Yeah,
some people probably don't realize it. They think you just go to work and point your finger.
Yeah, they don't know the
But
stress that
they
goes in
don't
the
know-
brain, but you
Yeah,
get
they
I know
tired
that
of
your
it.
managers call you at night, and that's your homework.
Dog, exactly.
Yeah, man.
Like sometimes my boss will be like, "Hey, let's close this fucking shutdown out. They're gonna bill it. We're gonna bill them for 500,000." You're like, "Man, if I fuck this up, dog,
Yeah, that's
like,
500,000.
We need that whole 500,000, and then you're thinking like music is nowhere
Yeah.
in your brain at this
No,
point.
no,
you know,
no.
so I just left music alone, dog. And I love music so much. I wanted to do something, so I was gonna just like get microphones like this and just you know just like audio.
Right.
But my son interested in being a film director.
Video.
So I said,
Oh,
"Hey, man,
nice.
why don't we just buy you cameras and you practice and learn how to do everything?" And then the podcast came, dog. But I don't even have time to do that. I literally have like 8, 9 episodes, dog. And I'm just so tired that I my studio's like in my garage too. I fucking turn the whole thing out, and I literally just have to go in there, get the SD card, put it on my phone, and then upload it. But when I get home, I'm just gonna go to my bed and go to sleep. You know, like I'm fucking tired.
Man, fucking driving from Century City to experience it.
Yeah, and then back over here.
Well,
back.
it's a lot of work. People think that you just turn on the lights and
And it
rock and
works.
roll.
yeah, like it just happens, you know. And
that's not all.
my son recently got into music videos, right? So I pay people to edit the videos now because I don't do them live. So I pay somebody to edit them, and he goes and does something else. So now I have to wait for them. He's shooting his music videos. Like, it's a whole lot, dog.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think I'm fucking tired of it. And I've only been doing it for like a year, too, dog. Like,
No, but
and I haven't put that much out.
It's
episodes
rocking,
out
man.
because I can't.
I just saw the one with that's when I hit you up. I saw the one with you, Mr. D and the homie Uno from Pacas.
Oh yeah, that fool's bad, dog. That fool's dope. He's next up. What do you guys think about him?
I like his stuff. Hold on. I like his stuff, man. I think he's signed.
Like, I gotta tuck the strap away.
Yeah, right.
I think he's hot. I got a couple homies that are younger than me, and they like his shit, man. So and Mr. D, I think it'll work out. I think the guy's gonna be successful, man.
Yeah.
And I'm really pulling for that guy.
You know what's dope about that situation right there, dog? Is Mr. D was embracing him the whole time. I never met Mr. D.
Okay.
Right? And they got to my house before I had went to go get beer and ice and shit. And when I got there, they were already kicking and talking to my son. But Mr. D was like making sure Uno was cool. Like, hey man, you good?
That's
you
right.
hungry? You need anything before we start? You know? And then you look at that like, man, that's pretty dope to have an older homie like mentoring you and be there for you.
Yes.
Like he could be like, hey, just get on the microphone and rap.
Yeah,
you
roll
know?
with
But
it.
he's over there like backing him up and shit. Like that's dope, dog. That's why it's gonna work.
He cares about his artists.
That's why it's gonna work, dog.
That's
It's gonna work between them.
So right now we're gonna take a what time is it right now? 6. Yeah, we're gonna take a small commercial break. Is that one gonna be on over there? Yeah. Turn that one down, please. That means they can hear us.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was a.
All right, you're good.
That was a great break, man. That was a great break
Yeah,
right there.
yeah. I was having more fun on the fucking break than I was.
Yeah, that was a great. Well, that's usually what it is. After you take a break, it kind of takes whatever little jitters you have because you get little jitters, you get little stuff when you're doing it.
Can we get into this SPM story real quick, dog?
Wait, I thought you were gonna sign with them, fool.
I was. I can't say I was. I was even gonna sign with Little Rob, dog, when I was like 16. Serio. My mom goes and gives Little Rob a CD, right?
Right.
She went to the autograph signing. You remember like they had the warehouse and all of that?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. Fuck yeah.
Sam Goody and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
My mom went
Goody
and
got
stood
it.
in line, right? She gave him a CD. And I used to sell drugs, right? So I wasn't living with my mom at the time.
Yeah.
I was living somewhere else. She told me, hey, I gave Little Rob your CD. Like, man, that's why you ain't gonna call me.
Yeah.
So one day, I get a call on my cell phone. And I was like, hello? And he was like, hey, is Steven there? I'm like, yeah, who's this? Oh, this is Little Rob. And I was like, man, how much do you want, dog? You know, because at this time, everybody in Colton knew that my mom did that. You know, I was over there telling everybody she gave it to Little Rob.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's what ain't gonna call.
Yeah.
And I was like, how much you want, dog? And then it was like, oh no, this is Little Rob. And I was like, yeah, whatever. So I hung up, dog. Call me back, like, hey, what's going on, bro? Like, how you doing? And this and that. And I was like, man, fuck this, dog. And I hung up again.
Yeah.
So then the third time they called back again, like, hey, bro, we're not gonna. And it was his manager or somebody. Like, was like, we're not gonna fucking call again. And they're like, is this you? And they're playing it in the background.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's me, dog. And he was like, we're on the tour bus right now. I'm right here with Little Rob. We like your music. We want to know, like, if you want to come out to. You remember the song Neighborhood Music? I think it was that song. They were shooting a music video in LA or something like that. And they were like, we want you to come out, you know? And so they start talking to me about, like, I like your skill and everything.
Yeah.
But then they go, but your name. And I was like, oh, my name is Fkm. And they were like, oh, no, we can't have that, dog, you know? And at this time, dog, like, I thought I was the best shit in the world, dog.
Oh, shit.
Man, I said, I ain't changing my name, dog. I see you guys at the top. You know what I mean? I ain't never made it to the top, but fuck, man, you know what I mean? Like, I fucking blew it, man. I blew it. And this was Summer Nights, Little Rob.
What a
dog.
dick. What a dick.
Summer Nights, Little Rob.
Because you don't want to give up FKM.
I know, dog. I'm stupid. Like, what the fuck's wrong with me, dog?
Hey, yeah.
Like, I call myself Little Red Riding Hood. Like, what the fuck? I fucked up. I fucked up.
Hey, Rob, you want him? Still here, baby.
Hey,
He'll
you know
change
what?
his name.
And they even still send me like a promotional package, right? So they send me this big ass box to my grandma's house. My grandma calls me like, you got a box. So I go over there, posters and CDs, like everything. And then they said, we want you to be part of our street fam and work with the, and I, fuck that. You know, I still thought I was going to come up. Thinking I'm a drug kingpin and like I'm about to be a rapper. I blew that shit.
That's a great fucking story.
I was only like 16 at the time.
Oh, man.
So, to the SPM, remember I said I was writing all of this shit and I'm writing letters, so I get a letter back from Dope House. Like, hey, man, same thing. You're dope, you know what I mean? But it's kind of a little vulgar, you know. You might want to turn it down, but we're interested in your talent. And I'm like, man, fuck these guys, you know? Like, but then I was like trying to be a little cool because I had already learned my little Rob lesson.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So I'm like, hey, man, like, thank you for being interested in me. And they're like, you know, start writing different music, like, that's not so vulgar. Because I had a song like Fuck Friends and Southside and shit. Like, I wrote those songs in prison. And I sent it to them, and they're like, hey, well, how about making some, like, radio-friendly stuff and send it to us, you know? So I was like, cool, man. So I started getting into SPM, and I'm bumping it in a cell one day, dog. And I'm fucking rocking in an OG, dog, from Banning, dog. His name was Rico, right? This Vato had the llaves to the yard. He goes on my cell, hey, come here real quick. And he's like, you're from the IEG? And I was like, yeah. He's like, you can't make us look bad, homie. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, turn that shit off, that fucking rapist motherfucker.
Oh.
And I'm like, what are you talking about, dog?
Yeah,
This shit's dope. And he's like, man, I'll holler you at the yard, you know?
Yeah.
So I go to the yard, and this was like, you don't know what that fool's locked up for? And I'm like, nah. He was like, man, that fool fucks with little girls and this and that.
Damn.
So then I'm like, man. And I still didn't want to believe it, dog. I'm like, man, how does he know? He's been in jail for like fucking 15, 20 years, dog. Like, he don't know, you know? So then I looked it up when I got
Sure
out.
enough,
and I was like, man, dog. Like, I was really into him, too, you know what I
No,
mean?
this shit bumps. I'm not gonna sit there and say shit don't bump. This shit bumps.
Yeah, dog. This
All the
is
artists
what
on that
an OG
label
told
bumps,
me.
too.
Like, I used to bump that CD all the time, dog. And then the other day, it sparked my mind when I saw you, what you did. You put them on blast, dog. Where did that come from?
Well, it first came from him putting his business out there, right? It popped up on my feed where the novela goes on. He's breaking up with Caroline because Caroline is selling edibles to kids and this and that. And I'm like, I smoke weed, man. You're making it seem like I'm smoking crack.
No,
homie.
hold on. Dog. Let me correct you right there.
Yeah.
He said his fans, he was about to say kids and he stopped himself.
Yeah.
I swear I listened to it because I was like, say kids, motherfucker, say kids. And he never said it, dog. He wanted to say it. But he can't, dog. He touches little kids.
In other words, I was like, you need to get off your high fucking pedophile horse and come down to the real world. You're in prison for touching. Or first, I thought the same thing as everybody else. I thought he was in there for a 13-year-old girl that he met at the strip club, that he ended up getting pregnant, the whole shebang. Which I think, well, now I don't think I know it's a fucking straight lie. So then I went down that rabbit hole, brother, and I said, you know what? I'm tired of this fucking argument because we've been arguing about this shit for 20 years.
Let me ask you this. Before you saw the paperwork, what did you think about that first case, the strip club thing?
No, I thought, yeah, that could happen as far as him getting her pregnant, being with her one night. But then when I started reading into it and saying, when the DA asked her about, did he know you were that young? And she said, well, he did pick me up at junior high for 7th grade. Like, right? You pick up, okay.
No, you know it's 7th grade.
Yeah, you pick yourself up in junior high school.
I don't care how pretty you are.
Yeah, so, okay, you go to the strip club, you pick up some chick, you have sex with her. I get that, all right? But the next day when you're like, hey, baby, let me get your number, right? Then I'm going to go pick you up. Where you going to be at? Oh, I'm going to be at the junior high.
It's time to bounce, you know?
Hey, fool,
and then you walk out with books and you're like, oh, I didn't know.
Hey, those are some huge red flags. Fool.
Yeah,
He knew. So then I saw that. It's like, all right. And then I started seeing and reading the things about the actual cases in there for. And I heard, no, this fool went down on a 9-year-old little girl. That's what he's in prison for. Yeah. He's not in prison for the 13-year-old. That's why when I saw that Baby Bash interview with Vlad TV, Baby Bash is full of shit. Baby Bash has never read the paperwork because Baby Bash was talking about, it was a stripper. So he thinks, but I don't think Baby Bash is being like lying to us. He was like,
why was she in the club in the first place?
He's just following the perfect narrative that SPM did. SPM is a genius. He's been pushing that narrative, and everybody's believing it. And what have people been asking for? Where's the paperwork? I found the paperwork. It's there online. It's
That's crazy.
It's very easy, but now they're saying, you can't believe the paperwork, American Cholo. Like, wait.
That's what everybody asked for. Like, I want to see the paperwork. Isn't that what everybody said?
That's what everybody's saying.
I want to see the paperwork. Yep. When you did that, I was like, fuck, finally somebody did that shit, dog.
And there was 6 other girls that came forward and went to the sentencing phase that pretty much said, I don't hold any ill will towards this guy, but yeah, I was 12 years old when we were dating him. So he had a pattern of going with little girls, brother.
Yeah. That's like that Michael Jackson shit, though.
No, he's a Chester, homeboy. Michael's a Chester.
Michael, I thought you were going to say no.
No, Michael's a Chester, homeboy.
Defend Michael, dog.
Michael's a Chester.
He was a bad motherfucker back in the day,
dog.
But that's too
I'm a
many kids,
huge Michael Jackson fan.
You ain't never going to see me in bed with some little ass my daughter's friends, dog. Like, I don't even be alone with my daughter's friends. Like, you'll never. There's not one instance that I'm alone with the little kids.
But Michael said, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. Sleeping with a baby boy. It's the most beautiful. Come on. No, Michael. Hey, but I'll still bump Michael Jackson.
I don't know.
You don't bump Michael Jackson? Come on, you gotta bump Michael Jackson, dude. Come on.
When it comes on the radio,
yeah, you gotta bump Michael.
I do.
Okay, is it a sin to bump him after that? No. I'm not gonna ever say I didn't fucking play Thriller.
You don't bump. You don't bump. You don't bump. You're in the car.
I'm not gonna be a liar and be all hard like, no, man, I'll play that.
Halloween Thriller always comes on, and I know you like Thriller. You're fucking riding and bumping it. R. Kelly,
I still just look over your shoulder, honey. You know what I mean? Like, that shit was cool. It was little Michael Jackson back then.
Oh no, that's when he was black Michael Jackson. That's when he was black Michael Jackson. How about R. Kelly?
R. Kelly's hard.
No, I'll bump R. Kelly, but R. Kelly's also
like
another.
When he comes on, like he has bomb ass music, but fuck, it is hard.
It's a hard situation.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. So
I mean,
I had like probably around the same time you did that SPM thing. Me and Mr. D were talking about SPM, and Mr. D was going in, and I was like, man, fuck it. I've always felt some type of way. Since I was a rapper, I kind of like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, like, man, I don't want to lose the SPM fans kind of thing. But since I don't rap anymore, Mr. D was talking about it, like, well, fuck it, yeah, like, fuck it, instead of, you know. And then people are like, it's ironic. This fool's talking about. This fool had charges and shit, and then Tupac's in the background. And then I went to my garage, dog, and I looked like, Tupac is there, dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Tupac's a rapist.
Yeah.
Convicted.
Exactly. So now I'm feeling some type of way. Like, I think I'm gonna take this motherfucker down. Dog. You know what I mean?
I actually made a thing about Tupac about maybe 8 months ago, and people were fucking trying to fry me because I put a thing out. Would you support somebody who was a convicted rapist? I didn't say who it was yet.
Yeah.
Would you bump their music? And everybody's like, no, fuck no, this and that. And then about a day later, I put a picture of Tupac.
Can we talk about this though? I'm not defending them because I think I am going to take the picture down. Tupac never locked it up though. That fool walked the main line, dog. And this, I don't know how vulgar we can. I get vulgar.
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
She was sucking his dick on the fucking dance floor, dog. You think he has to rape that bitch?
No. But if you saw the interview, she was having sex with Tupac willingly. She's always said that.
Yeah.
When they were in the room together, she's laying on top of Tupac. He's grabbing her. His homies come in. That's what happened. He ended up grabbing her, and his homies started boning her behind her. So it's like one of those things in the streets, but that's rape. She went in there. Yeah. Listen, she went in there to have sex with Tupac. She went there to suck him off, do whatever. But to Tupac, I didn't agree to these other two fools. That's rape.
Yeah, that's true. But how do we know she's telling the truth? And I'm not defending them. I'm just saying, though, like, you got to hide her like that. You know, it's like, come on now. In
you
the
gotta
club,
question her.
Like, you're doing that shit in the club. You don't think she let that fool do that, though?
No,
like, if it was Mike Tyson, yeah, that fool raped that. You know what I mean? He raped that Hyder, dog. Like, you know, damn, that fool got some screws.
Mike,
he got some screws, dog.
Mike's cool.
But I think I still am gonna take the Tupac thing down because before you said all that shit, before you came out with that, I was still a firm believer in you still got that on your jacket. Because here in the California prison system, dog, if you still have that on your jacket, you have it on your jacket.
It stays on.
Like, you're no good anymore. We see you on the main line, shit has to go down.
Tupac wouldn't have been able to walk California prison. He could have done that over in New York, but over here he would have got
exactly, dog. So, but then again, he still kept the solid stand on the main line. But I think I still am going to take it off, dog. But let me ask you this. So, is it a different situation with stars because people might be trying to frame them? People might be trying to get money. People might try to do shit like that just to get money. Do you have to dissect every situation?
You kind of have to, but if you're a star, you should know better by now. First of all, you don't put yourself in certain situations. But as far as like SPM, there's just too much evidence. It's not, like I said, you can bring two people together to make a little conspiracy to be, hey, we're going to try to get this for this money. Yeah. You can't bring 8 kids or 8 12-year-old girls, 14-year-old girls to come say this guy was having sex with me when he was like 22, 23.
Yeah, that's a little too much.
That's a little bit too much. That's exactly what it is. But what it is also is when you're a fan of somebody, not even a fan, let's say your own kid. There's people that their kids molest people. The parents are gonna be like, "Fuck no, my son didn't do that. He wouldn't do that." So people, also fans, fall in love with these guys, and they see the picture and they know the video, and they think this is how this person is. They don't know him behind the scenes, and they say, "No, there's no way." That's why people will die right now and say SPM did not do that. SPM first, the little girl's lying. Then the 13-year-old's lying. Then the other 6 girls are lying. And now I typed up the paperwork and put it up on the internet. That's the other thing I'm getting now. Oh, you must have typed it up. No, it's there, brother.
They don't want to believe it.
There could be a video of SPM picking up some 9-year-old that.
Put the link, dog, to the
No, there's a link in the comment. The very first top, the link is there.
Oh shit.
Yeah, the link is there, and it's to the appeal court. The other parts I got from some newspaper. Okay. But the newspaper, they quote exactly what it is. Newspapers don't sit there and gonna bullshit you. They're gonna give you exactly what came out of the court. And what came out of the court was this guy was with went down on a 9-year-old little girl, and they say, "Oh, she retracted. She was having dreams." What little 9-year-old little girl's gonna have a dream like that?
Yeah,
it's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
it's not gonna
be able to describe some shit like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And they just want to sit here and make up whatever narrative. But the fact of the matter is, the guy had his appeal. They throw it out.
That's crazy, huh? That's crazy. So, I first heard about you guys maybe like 3 weeks ago. I was listening. I was doing something in my studio, and I had my headphones on, and I heard an episode come out, right? And you guys are talking about, I think it was like norteños or politics and shit like that, and Chicano rap.
The Chicano rap beef.
So, yeah, but you guys like elaborated like more.
Yeah.
Like it started going somewhere else down the road.
Yes.
So do politics and everything play a part in Chicano rap? Do you think so?
Like street politics?
Should they play a part?
Should they? No, they should not. But unfortunately, people will politic on themselves from block to block, from street to street. Like some people say, "Oh, this was from Colton." They're not about that. Some fools will say this was from the valley. They're not about that. People will start saying politics, and then it goes to a bigger thing. It goes to counties. Then it goes to, oh, that guy's a norteño. He ain't about that. That guy's this. But at the end of the day, we're all brown men, homie. We all go for the same struggle. Like you said, our stories are more similar than not.
But rapist shit that's
no.
That's kind of part of politics, right?
No, rapist. No, that's regular world. In a regular world,
snitching, that part of politics.
Yeah, snitching is.
That's a good one.
Should it not have a place in here? What is Chicano rap to you guys? Because I was listening to like a lot.
Chicano rap is
I was like locked into that shit you guys were saying, dog, and it made me want to hit you up. Like, I want to come over there. You know what I mean? And it's ironic that you hit me up.
Yeah.
What is Chicano rap to
for
you
me?
guys?
It's for rappers speaking about the streets. You know, of guys from certain neighborhoods putting out what's on the streets and stuff, kind of telling their story. That's what I think Chicano rap is. But if they're gonna try to get to radio, then they need to ease up some, not be so hard.
I think that Chicano rap originally started off on a great note. You had stuff that when people said Chicano rap, you were proud of it. You were hearing like Little Rob, you were hearing Proper Dose, you were hearing. I
don't think Proper Dose and them were considered Chicano rap. They were just rap.
No,
right?
They were. I think. See, the Chicano rap. But I believe the Chicano rap label came after where people kind of backed away from it, got scared of it. Before it was Chicano rap. I mean, it was why? Because these are Chicano guys rapping finally, and they sounded good.
But Lighter Shade of Brown was never labeled as Chicano rap.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think Proper Dose was either. They were mainstream, though.
But that's what I'm trying to say.
They toned it down to hit the radio.
But my opinion was that Chicano rap was mainstream. Kid Frost was Chicano rap, but he's mainstream. But the thing was, eventually Chicano rap started breaking off, like in the mid '90s. Like what happened was, in my opinion, people started politicking on Kid Frost. He ain't gangster. He's not from the hood. He's not this. Little Rob, you're a punk. You're just like they're doing King Lil G. It's the same shit going over and over. And some people like C&G, some people say that guy's not a gang member. That's not. They're artists. They're talking about maybe not just their experience. They're doing what Dr. Dre did. They're doing what NWA did. They're just expressing what world they came from or what they did. They don't have to be killers. They don't have to be drug dealers. They don't have to. They're expressing. And the issue that I think that we have as Raza with Chicano rap is we start politicking on each other. We start pushing that. Oh, for you can't rap about that. You ain't about that life. Well, if you're really that much about that life, you're only going to be out here for a couple of years. You're going to go back to prison.
I do feel the same way as you just said. Yeah. So me and Bozo are talking maybe 3-4 days ago, right? we start talking about a situation, and I'm kind of telling him how I feel. He's probably the only person that knows how I really, really feel until I get drunk, dog. When I get drunk and I
Get
go
this guy a
online,
beer.
I start
Get this guy a beer. Get this guy a beer.
The next day I wake up like, why the fuck
Why did I do that?
Because I hold a lot of shit back because I try to be peaceful. I try not to speak on a lot of people. And the reason why I do that is because when you go to prison, dog, you're not allowed to clown. You're not allowed to horseplay. The reason for that is because if another race sees you clown me, clown you, or you clown me and you clown him,
they think
it's okay.
Yes.
So I try not to talk down too much on our people, even though I feel a certain way about a lot of people. I just try not to do it. When I drink, it slips up a little bit. Not that I get beer balls or anything. Yeah. I'm just not able to compose myself like I do
when you're sober.
Right.
So me and Bozo are talking, and we start talking about politics, and I start asking him, like, is it okay if this Vato did this and this Vato did that, dog? Like, I don't agree with it. Bozo's like, I don't know, dog. Like, he's not with it, right? And he's not really like us. And I said, okay, but what is Chicano rap? He's like, Chicano rap should be called Sureño rap. And I was like, exactly. So this Vato that's not like us, or this Vato shouldn't be trying to get in this circle, or these guys shouldn't try to be target our audience. You know what? If you're a real artist, you know who you're targeting. Dog. When Misfit Soto first came out, before Misfit Soto was Misfit Soto, me, him, and Cujo, and I gotta try to find the footage. Dog. I saw it a couple months back on YouTube. I was on live, dog, and this was when I was hot, right? Misfit Soto kept saying, I don't want to be put in a box. And then they came out with the Chicano rap. He tried to box us in and this and that. And I told Misfit Soto on live, like, hey, G, you realize your fan base is the Chicano rap fan base. You have to embrace that. It's the only way you're ever going to be that, right? But when you do, remember, rules follow that.
Yeah.
Rules, when you target, when you are in our circle, when you are in our genre, rules come with it, dog. It don't give a fuck if you're a snitch, if you're a PC, if you're this, and all rules apply now. Now, since you're coming into our genre, and I'm a very, very big protector and a very big defender of my genre, because I am Chicano rap. Before everybody started trying to embrace it, I always said that I was Chicano rap. I still to this day say it. You never once heard me ever say, I don't want to be put in a box. What does it matter, dog? A good song is a good song. If fucking Little Rob came out with Summer Nights, he didn't say, oh, it doesn't keep me in a box. He just made a dope song, right?
Yes.
So if you're going to be in Chicano rap and you're going to target our artists, I mean our supporters, and you're going to fucking be in this, you got to follow our rules, dog. There's rules, regulations that people have to follow. And I hate when people be like, well, that's stupid, dog. Like, why do we have to be like this? Why do we have to be like... Then go find your own fucking supporters, dog. Go try to be in the hip-hop scene. And then when people say, oh, why do we have to call it Chicano rap? People label it this and that. Like, you and
Hypnotic?
Yeah, we're talking, and I saw it, right? And then Hypnotic was like, our genre is the only one that gets labeled. Then a couple of sentences later, he's like, yeah, I listened to... And I just interviewed him. He's a real good dude, but... He contradicted himself because he was like, Daz and Krub, yeah, when I used to listen to that gangster shit. That was just a label right there. That was gangster shit. Back in the day, it was gangster rap. So when you say, hey, man, let me hear some gangster rap. Let me hear some hip-hop. Then it's East Coast. Let me hear some underground. It's all labels. Everything gets a label, dog.
But don't you think, though, like how you said right now, Chicano rap is like Sureño rap?
Yeah, Bozo said that, and I fully agree.
Yeah, but I think off the back, you're putting yourself in a box because you're excluding all of Northern California. And there's a lot of guys in Northern California that consider themselves Chicano rap.
I never heard them say that they're Chicano rap, dog. Like, their stilo is like black, kind of. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was locked up with them up north and shit. Like, they have a black stilo, dog.
Well,
they don't really identify with Chicanos. They're like...
I disagree with that a little bit. Well, actually, a lot, but... Look at the younger generation out. They all have a black stilo, homie. They all wearing the tight jeans. They're all saying the N-word. They're all saying that. So maybe I want to say probably, how old are you right now?
I fully agree. 35.
Okay, I want to...
Well, I might as well be 36, 2 months.
I want to say your generation and maybe 5 years before is the last true Cholo Chicano generation. Because all these other guys that are 19, 20 years old right now, I would say 70, 80% of them have more black stilo than they do. And I'm talking about Southsiders.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, you hear it in their music as well.
I tell you what, dog. Interviewing so much homies, because I interview a lot of young artists. Like these vatos say nigga and this and that.
All day long.
When the camera's off, and then when the cameras start rolling, that shit never comes out of their mouth.
No, well, I wanted to ask you about that. What are your thoughts on the N-word? And
it's not our word.
I heard some homie tell you something in the joint, which I really loved, and I want you to speak about that.
Well, I got two different explanations, though. One was if you say it and they take it wrong because the word started as a bad word, right, for them. And it's going to start a riot in the whole fucking prison. Like, we might start a racial riot, dog. We can't use that word. Then another one is, so if you've been locked up, you know that there's tension between us, the blacks, us, and the Norteños, right? And little do you know, maybe psychologically, when you say it, it might pump them up. Like, look at these fucking wetbacks over there using our word, dog. Like, you know, that makes them... we are better than them because they're trying to be like us. And we, like, all of them are, dog. Like, I hate when our... That's a whole... I don't even want to get into that.
That's for part 2.
I'm not racist or anything. I just want us to be proud of who we are.
Of course, yes.
I always say this. I'm not anti-black. I'm just pro-Chicano.
Yeah, of course. There's nothing wrong with that.
You know, I just want us to be our own and shit. You know?
Yeah, I don't think we should be using that word.
I don't
any
either.
But
that's not our word.
Because sometimes I will watch certain videos of some young guys coming up, and I'm like, that's a banger. And then all of a sudden, N-word. I'm like,
You don't like it either?
No, I don't like it. Well,
no, I can't stand it.
Okay, I was actually one of those guys that would say it here, like the homie Shorty came through, right? I'll be like, that, and here comes it, like that, playing around with them, right? And then what I started to see was guys like Peso and these other guys, and they have evolved so much into the black culture that they speak more ghetto black stuff than a real hood black guy.
Yeah, that's a different culture.
No. Wait. So I'm getting there. That's going to be California in 20 years. If we keep going and we don't say anything about the N-word and let these guys freely start saying it, which they did for the last, I don't know, year or so, because before they kind of weren't.
Yeah.
The floodgates opened up. They started saying it. What's going to happen is eventually in 20 to 30 years, the same thing that's going on over there with those so-called the essays over there. And then they'll shot at that. That's what's going to happen over here because look at it, man. Little by little, you see these young guys, they don't talk like... And I'm not saying they're going to be, hey, Holmes, they say, no. But you don't have to sit there and say the N-word every other... They say it more than a lot of black people. And I think that's a problem. So I caught myself. I'm like, wait a minute, dude. If a younger homie sees me saying it, he's going to think it's okay.
Yeah.
So, and then the big eye opener for me was I read Malcolm X's biography, the great book, and I was like, no, that's a wrong word, and I stopped. And sometimes I got some younger homies that come over here, and they'll say it. I'll be like, one, I'll give you 3. After that, I'm kicking you out the house.
Serio?
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, homie. I don't want to hear it. So I'm kind of trying to be the older homie to try to see, hey, look, I used to say
you're protecting our culture.
I'm protecting. Yes, dude.
Okay, that comes back to my point, dog.
We'll bring it back.
We cannot fucking let people violate our rules. Part of our culture, I think, to me, the Chicano rap culture is like, in my eyes, and I was never a Chicano rap fan. I fucking hated Chicano rap, just like I hated oldies. I didn't like Chicano rap till I started. Then I went to prison. The homies used to tell me, "Man, turn that shit off, dog. Listen to this." And I'd be like, "Man," but me as an artist, like I found the dopeness in the lyrics, and I started listening, and I fell in love with the culture, dog. And to me, coming from an outsider coming in, I always thought it was just gangbanging Sureño shit, right? So I think that's our culture, dog. To me, it's a prison culture. It's our rules. Our rules and everything, our regulations are the same, and we have to protect this culture. People loved Pachuco so much because they kept their fucking morals up. The way they dressed, they were so slick. They held themselves to a certain standard, and it boiled over to the cholos and shit, right? And we held the same standard as the Pachucos. We just
changed it up.
Started being a little crazy and shit. You know what I mean?
We just put 40s on 52.
We still have to let that boil over our standards and morals and everything to the next generation. But us accept like, okay, no, we can't chill with the Norteños or this and that, or man, it's alright if that guy snitched, or if it's, hey man, that guy's not about it, then it's okay. It's just rap. But no, we have to pretend like you shouldn't be talking like that. Like my son is never gonna talk like that. Like I'll tell him, hey, what the fuck's wrong with you? You're not like that. Like, you know, you should. These people shouldn't be talking like that if they're not like that, dog.
But that's. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So what do you think about YG wearing the mariachi outfit?
Fuck no. I made a song called Nigga because at first I was gonna be like fucking fried chicken and this and that, right? But I made a song called Nigga, just every word. This is for my vatos, nigga. Eating tacos, nigga. Beating with some cheese. That's supreme nachos, nigga. Yeah. You know, but I was just saying it just to see if they get mad.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I was gonna make a video. I should have made a video, dog. Like, but like, and the whole word, ride, but my niggas roll. I say nigga through the whole thing, and they actually liked it though. They were like, man, I didn't even. They were like, I'm not even mad. They should
like, damn it.
You know?
They're like, damn it.
You know, but I did it because I don't think that's cool, dog.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Like, I don't think that's cool.
That mariachi outfit means
like,
something.
how about
to
if I make a fucking video with the do rag and then my pants hanging down off of my ass with some fucking fried chicken? They're not gonna like it, dog. You know, like I feel like maybe he thinks it's okay, but I feel like you're clowning.
Yeah.
You know, like that's not cool, dog.
Yeah, Mr. D was at the video shoot. Hey, but I think also though that I get what your point is about Chicano rap and certain rules, but I disagree with you as far as when you say that if they haven't lived that life, the biggest rappers in the USA group-wise, which was NWA, gangster rap, 75% of those guys never lived that life either. I think we need to kind of open our minds to that. Open up, like I said, we need to support guys even if they're not about that life, but they can rap. It's like a guy who does acting. You know, De Niro is an actor. He's not out there a mob guy. He's not out there killing people. And the same thing, I think we as Raza need to kind of get off that boat. And there is certain rules that no snitching, no chomos, no crazy stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. But that really is society. Believe it or not, society has rules too. You wouldn't want no chomo in your house. You wouldn't want certain snitches in your house, even if you're a regular square guy, I guess. So I think on that part is the only one we disagree on. But Chicano rap also, when I hear Chicano rap, I think I don't think big venues. I don't think big stuff. And I think
what about this scenario, Spencer?
Let's do it.
What about this scenario? Somebody pulls that fool's cover. Say he's in Texas. Say he's in Kansas somewhere. Somebody sees this little fool rapping about this shit and they decide to slap that fool up, right? He just made us look stupid because he didn't do nothing. He's going to let himself get slapped. Yeah, but do we defend him or do we be like, man, that fool's stupid? Like he shouldn't have been saying that shit.
That's like 6ix9ine.
6ix9ine's not a Chicano. He's a blood. Dog.
But
same thing in Cypress Hill. They're bloods, dog. They're not part of our culture.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my culture. I'm telling you, dog. Like I don't. People are like, oh, Cypress Hill dope. Nah, those fools are bloods, dog. They belong to the black culture. They're blacks.
But I think I don't know if the majority of the fan base, but Cypress Hill's big fan base are Chicanos.
I know because they probably that's like. They don't understand like those fools are when you get locked up, those fools are your enemies because they're the bloods.
I always wondered how they got so mixed into Chicano rapping because they grew
up in Southgate, right?
Yeah, but he was a blood from
but
there.
The bloods, though. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Think about it. That fool's your enemy when you're locked up. When you get in a riot, that fool's gonna try to kill you. He's not one of us.
Yeah, but I think Cypress Hill and Be Real have been rappers for the last. What?
Be Real is the blood, though.
I know, I'm saying, but they've been rappers for the last 20, 30 years. I don't think Be Real has been a blood for 25 years.
I think he's dope as fuck. Don't get me wrong, dog. That shit is hard. Like, that was dope, dog. But when they say, like, culture or Chicano rapper, like, he's not my culture. Like, I don't consider him my culture.
I think we were just excited to have some, because he's half Mexican or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we as Raza were just excited to have somebody who kind of shots us out every once in a while. Mm-hmm. I mean, shit, look, you say that about him, but look how many essays love Tupac like he's a god only because Tupac mentioned us. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. But we'll give Tupac a pass and we love Tupac as a black man, but we like again, we go back to the same thing. He ain't that real. I think we need to get off that ship.
No, you got you thinking. No, you do got me thinking. I guess maybe it's an ongoing conversation, right?
It's a good conversation. Debate, it's a good conversation.
Because you make some very, very valid points. Very valid.
That's what we try to do, buddy.
You know, and on the way over here, like I kind of like was thinking about the Tupac poster thing, like What the fuck? Like, I can't like Tupac.
It's hard. It's hard, man.
And there you go.
I saw the comment like, man, I can't like this fool anymore.
I'm gonna buy you a Be Real poster.
No, but I
6ix9ine. I'll get you the 6ix9ine one.
I can like Be Real, and I totally
No, I
100%
get it.
like Be Real, and I think he's dope as fuck, and I listen to him. But when people say who's the hardest Chicano rappers of all time, and then they say, oh, can't forget about Cypress Hill. In my head, I'm always like, those fools are not us, though.
So who are the best Chicano rappers of all time, according to you?
Biggest or best?
The best. Your favorite.
Little One? Misfit Soto? If he's a Chicano rapper. He said no because he said if that's what
This
no.
This dick.
He was at my house. He said if that's what they want to call me.
Yeah.
Then he said I guess I am or I'm not. But if he is, I think he's probably like fucking the dopest. Dog. Like, you know what I mean? Like honestly, Cujo.
How about the old guys? Let's say from the 90s.
Okay, Little One. I think Little One's the fucking dopest.
You like Little One, huh?
That fool is so fucking dope.
That's right.
Dog. Like rap devil, strap, you know, singing homicide carols. Like that fool's dope. Dog.
All right.
I don't know why a lot of people don't like Night Owl, dog, but I really, really fucking like Night Owl. I think Lil Rob is so dope.
Oh, Lil Rob's
dog. Natural
badass,
high.
okay.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Oh,
that
neighborhood
fool
music
is
too,
so
all
dope,
that. No,
dog.
to me,
Yeah,
Lil
yeah.
Rob's one of my
And he
Like,
turned
favorites.
it
if you
down.
listen to Little Rob, I'm a very technical rapper. Like, you have rappers that, like, Snoop couldn't rap for shit, really, dog. Like, in my opinion. Like, that 1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy.
He's got swag,
no,
homie.
yeah, exactly.
He got swag,
Like,
that's what
he
it is.
rhymes stick with brick, and you're like, damn, but he be like, stick and brick.
Yeah, he's got that swag.
No, you're like, damn, that shit was tight.
He got that
But he
swag.
really can't rap, you know? But so if you listen to Little Rob got rhyme skills.
Yes,
Dog. Like
yes.
that fool's really rhyming to some shit, you know? So I think that's dope. That's why I like Little One too. And then if you listen to Night Owl, he's really, really dope too. Frank V is dope too.
Oh, yes,
and
Rubber
these
Dose.
people that I'm mentioning are real rappers. Though.
Yes.
Like to me, like they're real rappers.
You say
and shit.
Tres Delincuentes? Are they Chicano rap to you? Tres Delincuentes, huh?
They're dope as fuck.
But
And you know what? I think they have like, if not maybe one of the highest fucking songs ever by a Latin artist. I don't know. That's kind of like I always thought that. They're like, are they or not? Are they or not? You know?
to me, all those guys, even though some don't consider, I consider them Chicano rappers. But back then, like I said, it was the cream of the crop. Back then in the 90s, you were proud to say you were Chicano rap. But what happened, in my personal opinion, like in the last 10 years, you got everybody and their mama in the hood rapping, and it's kind of
It became too gangster.
it's you got a lot of horrible rappers out there. You really do. Let's just be
I
honest.
fucking love that, dog. I love that. Sometimes when I'm drinking, right, and if somebody asks me about an artist,
Yeah.
I'll be like, man, that fool's cool, dog. He's real. I heard nothing but good shit about him, but he can't rap. for
Yeah,
shit.
let's
And
be
then
honest.
FKM's hating. Like, nah, dog, I just told you the truth.
Yeah, they're not.
Like, you're right, dog. Like, just because fools are real, everybody's like, oh, man, that fool's real as fuck. Yeah, but that fool can't rap for shit. But you guys still follow him because
yes.
he's
And
real.
people say that. Oh, you're cloud chasing. Oh, you're no. The guy just like my homie Shorty who left. He'll sit there and rap with the hood all day long. You think he's a horrible rapper, but he's talking. So it's fun. You just sit here, right? You sit here and bullshit and do it, and it seems like that's what those guys are doing. So what it's doing, it saturated the whole rap scene, Chicano rap, with a lot of bad rappers, and the real good ones people don't see them because they're Chicano rap.
Should we get rid of Chicano rap in your opinion?
No.
No, it's a big, it's a big audience, man. It's a big audience, and people are catering to it. And Capone is making a great living off Chicano rap because Chicano, that's what he's doing, right? Mm-hmm. So obviously there is a market for it, but I just think that I understand why guys like Misfit Soto will sit there and say, I don't want to be Chicano rap, because when you hear that, you think swap meet. You think Lowrider Show. You don't think Staples Center. You don't think...
Yeah, but Misfit's dope.
Oh, Misfit is. Yeah.
You know, like, he's dope, dog.
No, he is. He's got the beats. He got the whole sound. He got a little singing in him. No.
Let me ask you guys this. I watched your interview, and he said that he'll take out Cujo, dog. What do you guys think? Is he doper than Cujo?
As a whole package, yes. As a whole package. Because it would be like, all right, Cujo, all right, Misfit, here's the war room, you guys do your thing. Misfit's gonna write his song, Misfit's gonna write his beat, Misfit's gonna make the beat, he's gonna do Cujo, I don't know, I don't think. that he can make all those beats and all. He has somebody else probably do that for him.
Yeah.
So it would be like Misfit would be Dr. Dre, and Cujo would be he wouldn't be Ice Cube.
Nah, Misfit would be like Kanye, because Kanye raps and makes his beats. You know what I mean? Or something along that line. Dr. Dre can't rap.
I think
really, right?
on a lyrical.
I think his beats are like Dr. Dre though.
Lyrically, like straight up, I think Cujo will have him. That guy's just lyrically,
I'm a Cujo fan, so
I think he should stop.
Mine.
He should stop doing so much of the trying to be gangster shit. He is the Mexican Eminem, and he's got it, dude. He really that one that he did on the block on the hill. He just the I forgot what he called it, the cocky rapper or whatever.
What if I was cocky?
What if I was dude? That's golden, and that can sell in the mainstream. But I think he's a young guy, and I don't know if people are in his ear, but he wants to just I'm gangster. And that's what happens too much. People are so busy being gangster that they're not really saying.
Me and Cujo had a conversation, dog, right? And we're at work, and I don't know how it came up, but I think he asked me like something about like, what do you think about it? And I said, dog, I told him, I think you're better than everybody, dog. Or you have the potential to be better than everybody. But Misfit he has everything. And I'm not even talking about beats. I don't care about beats. Misfit can make you feel a certain way.
Yes.
Misfit can take you on a ride, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think not just with Cujo, with everybody else, like a lot of Chicano rappers or a lot of gang members, right? And think about this as I'm saying it. Think about what if I was cocky, right? I'm a very technical rapper. Cujo barely started using like a couple of double syllables, meaning like Cujo, you know, who know, right? It's very hard to use double syllables, triple syllables, quadruple syllables. I don't rap. I hardly rap in double syllables. I use triples and quadruples, you know? So it'd be like fucking ta ta ta, ta ta ta. I'll rhyme 3 of the same sounding things, right? Misfit raps like that. It's easier for Cujo to rap single syllables, right? So, and this is why Misfit said what he said, that it wasn't that dope. Because if you listen to it, the dope shit that you're going to be like, oh, that was hard. Everything was a gun bar. He refers to a gun like 4 or 5 times in that
Cujo
song. Yes.
Yeah.
Misfit hardly in any of his songs refers to guns. That's why a real MC will be like, damn, Misfit's so fucking dope, because he'll take you on a ride through love. He'll take you on a ride in the hood, and he'll make you feel what he's saying. Plus, he's so smart that he's rhyming double, triple syllables and thinking about what he's saying. So Cujo would be like, you know, I hit you with the strap, and I'm coming with the bat, and you're like, fuck, but the real MC is gonna be like, what the, okay, you know, and then Misfit's over here like the Dalai Lama and the drama, and you're like, damn, that one can rhyme like a motherfucker, you know. So I guess it's just your preference or how you see it,
Yes,
you know.
yes. So you're taking
I
Misfit.
think right now, yes, and I think because Misfit also has a bigger portfolio and more songs. You know what I mean? But just like Misfit said, Cujo has the potential.
Yes.
Dog. Cujo has the potential to get there, dog.
He does, man.
He has it, dog.
I'm a fan of Cujo.
He has it.
Hey,
his energy, dog. His energy.
Let's
just by
talk
itself.
real quick. During break, we were talking about that song you did about your kids. How it all came
Feel so
about.
proud.
Yeah, the whole thing. Talk to us about that.
Well, first and foremost, I would like to say thank you to Jokes. I don't know if you guys know who Jokes is, but he sang on the hook. He used to be part of Brown Side.
That's right.
I waited for like a year for him, dog. I wrote that song in prison. I was thinking about my kids, and I wrote that song in prison, right? I wrote it to this, my favorite song in the whole world, which is a song called Song Cry by Jay-Z, right? Now, on that song, there's a sample. And if you listen to the Feel So Proud, there's a background music. The beat, basically the beat, right? Well, this beat, I try to use other beats. Misfit, I paid Misfit to make another beat for me and like try to use a different sound, and it never, not that Misfit couldn't make it, I just always pictured it to that sound.
Okay.
You know, I even remember we were in the studio and Misfit was going all night and he made some dope shit, dog. And I was like, man, dog, I'm sorry. And I gave him like $300. Like, I just, I pitched, not that I didn't feel it. The beats were dope as fuck. That's Misfit.
Right.
I just always visioned it to this song. So one day I said, man, fuck it, man. I'm just going to make the fucking song to that beat, right? So I had this producer. He's like, you want me to try to redo it? I said, nah, dog, just let's use the sample. So we used the original song, right? So I liked it so much that I was like, man, I gotta figure out how to get the rights to this song if it's even possible. And it's a long shot, dog. You got Jay-Z, Keisha Cole, fucking like superstars. The fucking biggest guy in rap was granted this sample, right? Like, who the fuck thinks I didn't even think I was gonna get it, dog. But I'll tell you what, dog. Quiet as kept. I help a lot of people on their paperwork to get all their music registered. I tell them the steps how to go because all my music is registered 100%, dog. Like, I got ASCAP and this and that, like everything. You play one of my fucking songs, is gonna, if I allow it to, you can get royalties on it. But as soon as you put one of my songs on your YouTube page, fucking it's gonna get caught right there, dog. Like, you know what I mean? Except like there's a couple songs that I don't have, and I do that on purpose for my YouTube page. Anyways. So I help everybody. Everybody knows that I fucking knows how to do all this shit. So I start looking it up. Like, man, I'm smart enough to do this. So I'm going to do this. So I start looking up how to go about getting samples clear. And it starts giving you all these examples and everything. And the first thing it said was, before we get started, do not send your song in an email. Do not give them a SoundCloud. Do not fucking give them a skit. Send them a YouTube link. It's already done, so they just click it, it pops up, and they hear it, because nobody wants to go to their email and look this up, right? So I'm looking up the original song, and the original song by some guy, and I keep looking for his name, and it never pops up, dog. And I'm like, man, this fucking guy sang the song. So then I just like start going to my ASCAP repertoire. So if you have an ASCAP, it gives you the information on any song in the world, dog, or a BMI, depending on who it's registered with, and it tells you the address to that fucking person, where the number, everything that they're registered under, dog. Yeah. And a lot of people don't know this. I looked it up and researched it, went in there and was like, here it fucking is right here, you know? So there was like, because people use that sample over time, they remix the song. You know, I don't know if you guys are aware, but every so often you have to do a new version of the song or re-release it to keep the copyrights to it. If not, then it becomes free for the public to use. That's why they always have Michael Jackson every 10 years, 20 years. They come out with the new Michael Jackson album remastered, the Doors remastered, the Beatles remastered, because if you don't use it within a certain amount of time, it's because public property, dog. So if you notice, they'll always put these albums out. And you're thinking, why the fuck they always put these albums out, right? So there's a million of them, dog. But on all these, it says emails, numbers, and everything. So I start for 3 weeks, dog. I'm sending email after email after email, long ass paragraphs, dog, and nobody ever fucking answered me, dog. And then one day I'm at work and I'm like, man, this isn't the last fucking time I'm gonna. And I'm honest, dog. I said this on everything I love. This is the last time I'm gonna try this shit. So I start sending the email, and then I see a call sign, like a little fucking call symbol. So I push it, dog, and it starts ringing. Somebody forwarded my call, and I'm like, man, this is something. So I start fucking sending a text message to that number, and the person just said, I like it. We'll be in contact. And I'm like, all right, who the fuck is this? So I get a call maybe like 30 minutes later, and I'm like, man, I'm on lunch right now. Like, can I call you back? Because I was working next to the railroad. You're not allowed to be on your cell phone.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, fuck, man. So I called this number back, and this lady's like, you know, Ralph Johnson, he loves the song, and Ralph Johnson heard it, and, you know, like, I think we can work with you, and Ralph Johnson this. And I was like, who's Ralph Johnson? You know, this other guy's the one that sings the song. She was like, oh, that's just the guy that sings the song. Ralph Johnson owns the song. I said, who's Ralph Johnson? She was like, one of the founding members of Earth, Wind, and Fire. And I was
like, what?
Wait, like, what kind of Earth, Wind, and Fire? Like, the Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, he's a founding member. Like, he owns the song. Didn't you see in the ASCAP repertoire? And I'm talking about this lady named Rhonda Badikian. You know, she's his road manager, I believe. Or maybe his manager, I forgot. So she starts telling me, like, you know, he heard the song, he loves it, we want to work with you, are you signed? I said, no, man. And she was like, perfect. So we set up a meeting. Next thing you know, I'm there with Ralph. They have to get signatures from, like, somebody that's dead and somebody owns the estate, but they sign off for me to use that sample, dog. And I went to a meeting with Ralph, and he's like, man, you know, like, I let Jay-Z, Keisha Cole, Ghostface Killer, like, all these high-profile artists use this, you know, and he's like, I just love the song so much, it spoke to me when I heard it. And he's like, it doesn't matter if it's a hit right now. He said, I wrote that song 30 years ago. Jay-Z, I make millions off of that song off Songcry. He's like, it might not be a hit right now. One day somebody might love that song and it might be big. He's like, that's how much I believe in that song.
Yeah.
And he granted me the rights to that song.
That's a great
And then next
story.
thing you know, they call me like, hey kid, we're going to an award show. You got nominated and for a new song, and like for a newcomer, a new song, end up winning, dog. Like,
That's
you know, and I'm sitting there with Ralph and Dean,
cool.
Earth, Wind, and Fire, like
Yeah,
yeah,
cool.
dog. And I was like, man, this was like, I even got played on the radio, dog. I got played on the radio here, Texas, like a couple of other states, New Mexico, for that song. You know, I did a concert for 99.1, ODM, and them like in Riverside, and like,
That's what's
man,
up.
it was so dope. It was the dopest experience, dog. To hear yourself on the radio. I remember we got in my truck and we start hearing it, and in the beginning of the song, it was my son when he was 3 years old. He was rapping, and my daughter just like taps me on the back of the shoulder, like, "Good job, Dad." And I had chills going up
That's
and
right.
down.
Oh, yeah.
So there was,
That's
for my
right.
musical career, there's two moments that I will cherish forever. That moment that I was in the truck with my daughter and my family listening to us on the radio, and when I won the award, dog, like,
That's right.
that was like the best thing ever, dog. Like, for them to call your name,
Yeah.
you're like, what the hell? Like, you know?
That's
It's
great,
pretty dope.
brother. That's
Yeah.
great.
It was pretty
So
dope.
to go in now, you talk about your kids. How is it you being a father, and how important are your kids to you?
My kids are my world, dog. Like, I love my kids so much. Like, I think about them all the time, dog. Like, you know, and you know, I tell them I love them all the time. I'm a very, very affectionate father. You know, like I my son would be walking by and hear him. I'd be like, Steven, come here, and he comes and be like, come and give me a hug. You know? And I like my daughter. She probably fucking hates it, dog. But I make her give me kisses like every time. Dog. Like, come here, give me a kiss. Come here,
That's
give me a
right.
kiss. You
Yeah.
know? But I don't know if I very often tell them how much they mean to me. I express it, you know. I break my back every day, and you know, sometimes I think I just need to sit them down and tell them how much they mean to
That's
me. You
right.
know what I mean? But they're my world, man.
That's
And
right.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
And that's why I brought you on here, man. I heard your story. I saw your thing, and that's what it's about, man. It's about us breaking that cycle, not being the same parents your parents were, my parents were, because, you know, they went through a different struggle. And I think that's what it's about, man. Sharing our stories. That way people can know, hey, man, we can change this thing, man. And
When you don't have a father, dog, you want to give them everything. My wife gets mad, dog, because I give my kids, like, whatever they ask for.
Yeah.
Dog. I mean, I obviously can't give them the world, you know, like.
But you get close to it.
Yeah, my wife was like, my daughter's not allowed to have an iPhone until whatever. She asked me for her birthday, I got her the damn thing, like the newest iPhone, you know, like, I just want them to be happy, though. Like,
That's right.
I want them to be never
Yeah.
to worry about anything. I remember me having to wear cleats because I didn't have shoes. I had holes in the fucking side of my shoes.
Yeah.
I was embarrassed, dog. you
Oh, I
know,
remember
like,
that. Yeah, yeah.
stuff like that, and you wear the same shit over and over, and I never want them to be like that, though.
that's right, man. So this is where I tell you to let people know where they can find you on any social media, and let them know about your platform.
You can find me on Instagram. I'm only on Instagram. I post on Facebook a little bit, but I say just find me on Instagram at FKM_Southside. And I have a YouTube channel, A Baker's Dozen Media. And with that, I do like interviews. I do promotion, like people's clothing brands, you know. Like, I just do everything I can to uplift the culture.
That's
dog.
right.
I have a show called Fresh Out the Oven, and you remember like MTV and BET back in the day where they play music videos?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So I sit there and I play everybody's music videos that recently dropped, and I only do positive shit, dog.
Yeah.
Like, I say good comments. I say, oh man, this is dope. Oh man, the beat's dope. This is that, because we don't have time for negativity of our people. We have to show each other in a light, you know? So I do that. And then, like I said, like sometimes I do giveaways. Like, hey, if this video reaches this much, then we'll do giveaways. And people, this is one thing that I want everybody to know right now, since you have a bigger platform than me. I say people donate to me, right? Everybody thinks I beg and ask, dog. But you have a clothing brand, she has a clothing brand. Ask any one of these guys that you see me, like I'll unbox them and throw it in the box, and I have like a big ass box like this full of shirts and hats and everything. I'll put money in all of your guys' PayPal accounts, dog. People think I just say donation, so people could feel a certain way, like, oh man, I'm helping the raza, but I do put money in everybody's account.
That's right.
Like, hey homie, I'm gonna send you $25, I'm gonna send you $20, I'm gonna send you, can you send me a shirt or two so we can put in this box? And I just say people donate. Some people do donate, don't get me wrong. Now everybody donates, and people are like, I don't even want your money, you're doing something good for our people, and we're doing giveaways and promoting our brand, because I don't get nothing from it. You know what I mean? I just like, if I could promote our people's brand, who else is gonna promote their brand?
Of course.
And if we don't, and I try to like wear our brands, and I try to like, you know, wear the hats, and every time I'm in the video, like I'll do my episode fresh out the oven, I'll have like somebody's hat on, or I'll have somebody's shirt on. Exactly.
Money
like,
don't sleep, baby.
Sleep, you know. So I do anything I can to uplift the culture, though. Like, sorry, I'm going like
no,
off,
get your money.
I just put on my Instagram, I'm gonna help any artist that want to be helped, you know. And I went, and so let's just take this guy Ricky West for example. He sent me his music. Obviously, I can't help everybody, though.
Right.
But I heard it. I said, man, this dude's dope. So I bought him a $100 beat from 4Dub. Right. I took him to Fkm Studios, which was another $100 session. Then I took him to another session with AI, the producer AI, which was another $100 and something session. I'm gonna pay for his music video, but his music video is gonna be shot in LA in a studio, dog, like FD Studios, and I'm gonna pay for that, dog. You know what I mean? And then the homie Little Stretch, I paid for his beat from the homie 4Dub, and I'm gonna take him to the studio tomorrow morning,
That's right.
so he can go record his song. You know, I'm trying to not only am I putting them out there, I'm paying for it. So now it's not like kind of the Capone deal where like you pay for everything, I'm gonna promote you. Like, nah, I'm gonna pay for your beat, I'm gonna pay for this, I'm gonna pay for this, I'm gonna pay for this. And I almost got Misfit to engineer Ricky West's shit too, but I just hit Misfit up like too soon, you know, like he was barely waking up. But I tried to get him with the top producers, and you know, like try to do everything for the culture. Though.
You're paying it forward, homeboy.
All out of my pocket.
Paying
it
forward,
like, everything just comes out of my pocket. I don't ask them for nothing. I don't say you got to do this for me. You got to sign with me or nothing. Like just an experience.
That's right, Playboy. So I want to thank you for coming on, man, and it's a good time, homie. It's a good time.
I know. I've been talking a lot. Sorry, dog. No, man. I'd like to thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
And
I never do interviews.
It's much easier, right?
Yeah,
it's much. If people don't, like I said, people don't understand how much work goes into this shit.
I know, dog. Like you have to think about like everything you're gonna do.
Yeah, because if not, the conversation stops. You're like,
I get to leave here. You still got to put all this shit together after I'm gone, right?
Pretty much, homeboy. Hey, brother, appreciate you coming through. You guys have a great night out there in YouTube world. Go check the homie out. Baker's Dozen. Let's Chop It Up podcast. He's got some great stuff. Got some great guests. It's all about the raza, and it's all about us supporting one another, man.
Yes, sir. Much love to my